Before I make my part two, I really wanted to take the opportunity to thank everyone for the amazing support and love. When this was first posted, I did not expect the type of feedback and reaction that this is getting.
Hello my people, and welcome back again to another interesting video. This is an update from this woman that one of her eyes got blind while the other survived. You remember when she shared a story of abuse, domestic violence by her husband that later committed suicide. I'm going to link the part one of this video down in the description box so that you can go and watch it if you have not watched it. But if you remember the video, if you remember the story, I promised to bring an update because she also promised to bring updates on the matter, how she's going and what happened and all of that, to explain further on how she survived the whole incident. It poured acid in her eyes, and that is why one of the eye is gone, and it was like if she doesn't stop screaming, it's going to pour it down her throat. Yeah, so I'm going to put the link of the first video down in the description box, and let's go ahead and watch the updates. But first, she made a video to thank everybody for the whole support, because she got a lot of support on that video that she made. She got a lot of support, and the fact that she could share something like that, a lot of people that are going through something like that were also able to share the things that they were going through as well. So I'm going to roll the videos, the update that she posted in that channel, and we're going to talk about it at the end of the video.
Before I make my part two, I really wanted to take the opportunity to thank everyone for the amazing support and love. When this was first posted, I did not expect the type of feedback and reaction that this is getting. And it's wonderful. I am completely overjoyed and also overwhelmed by the amount of love that I feel and how much I really know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Throughout the year and a half when things were really bad, it was just almost repeated to me every day that nobody liked me and nobody loved me. Look, you haven't talked to your parents in such a long time. No one reaches out to you. Nobody cares. And the thing is that even with a strong sense of self, constantly hearing that you're ugly and you're terrible and your children and the world would be a better place if you unalived yourself, it starts to eat away at you. And in my case, I hadn't spoken to my parents in almost a year by the time that this happened. My sisters, even longer. People at work noticed that things were wrong, but I was too afraid to talk about anything. I became completely different. What I'm trying to say is that it messes with my head a little bit, but in a good way, the amount of support and love that I've had. Because you're truly showing me what a liar he was. And it's also showing me that we are all really out here to support one another. Thank you so much for the comments to each other, sharing each other's stories, and the private comments that I've been getting from people. They've been wonderful. I've had people share their stories with me and tell me how hearing my story has either inspired them to get out, or there has been people that have said that they thought about going back. Let me tell you, when I read that comment that you left last week, you thought about going back, but that now you're not, that was it. That was it right there. That's why I'm doing this. And it is very hard to share. It is very vulnerable, and I'm still getting used to that feeling, but it feels like what I'm supposed to do. I really want to thank my parents and my family who I have reconnected with. Without your support through this, and without your love, and without your support over the years, I don't think I ever would have became the strong person that I am now to be able to survive what I did. As I like to say, I survived the devil, and so it's time to do God's work now. I also really want to thank the doctors that helped to put me back together. This will come in later parts, but I would like to share that when this first initially happened and I was airlifted to Kansas City, I knew that it was bad, even though that I couldn't see and they had me on so much medication to not feel the pain. I knew how bad it was. And the doctors worked so hard. They worked so hard, and they were just trying to figure out what happened. And I wouldn't tell them anything. There was the lie that will be covered in part 2. But I really want to say thank you to Dr. Sokol. You made me to at least where I am now. And I know that it's still a work in progress. And I really just want to say thank you so much for being so caring and being so amazing at what you do. I also want to thank the few military doctors that have been helping me through my recovery as I was medically retired from the Coast Guard after this happened. I would specifically like to thank Dr. Bueller, as you really, really helped to set me into the right direction. I just want to say thank you again. I will be posting a part 2 tomorrow, so stay tuned. Have a blessed day. Hey everyone, so it's time to continue with my story. There's going to be a lot of trigger warnings through the entirety of the rest of the videos that I post. I'm going to try my best to keep all of my videos to about 5 minutes. I'm not sure how long this video will be. There is a lot to unpack. I'm going to talk about the day before this happened, because I actually left that day. And then I'm going to talk about the day that this happened. A few things to keep in mind is, by this point, it had been going on for a year. It didn't start very physically abusive. That progressed over time. But by the time that we got to November of 2022, things were incredibly bad. The morning that I left, he had threatened me that he was tired of dealing me and that he wanted to take me to this motel that he originally took me to months before, threatening to have men SA me and hopefully unalive me. When he made the threat this time, I believed him, and I knew that I had to go. I told him I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving. I grabbed my keys, and I grabbed my phone, I grabbed my wallet. He watched me the whole time. I thought he might try to stop me, but he didn't. I ended up leaving the house without my kids. Up to that point, I had never seen him be abusive with the children. It was always just directed towards me. So when I left, in my mind, I knew that they would be safe. I left the house and I went to a lake that was a couple miles down the road. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't have any money. He, by that point, had taken my debit card, my credit card, any cash that I would have had. He made sure that he put gas in the car, and he monitored my every step. There was a locating device on my car. There was an incredibly sophisticated program on my phone that not only allowed him to track me, but he could also see when I was writing a text message, when I had deleted something that I was typing. He also could listen in to phone calls when he wanted to, all without my knowledge. When I sat at the lake, I cried because I couldn't call anybody if I wanted to. He would have known, and who knows what he would have done. By that evening, he had already started calling me and texting me and asking me to come home. He told me that he knew that things had been bad and that he wanted me to come home. He didn't know why he was being the way that he was, but that I just needed to come home. And I told him I can't come home. I can't take it anymore. It's been going on for a year now, and it's only gotten worse. He didn't like that, but he never came to try to find me. I moved to a different place so that nobody would bother me. I drove in a commuter parking area. I eventually fell asleep. I'm not sure what time, but when I woke up, I had a bunch of mixed calls and text messages from him, but my phone was also locked at that point. He ended up showing up where I was parked at. I seen our truck in my side mirror, and I instantly got scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. When he got out of the truck, he came over to search the car. I'm not sure what he was looking for, but he didn't find anything. He asked me to sit in the truck with him, and I did. And he started to apologize and beg for me to come home. He told me he didn't know what was wrong with him, and he wanted to make things right. He was laying it on really thick. But even then, I still held my resolve. And I told him I loved him, but there was no way I could go back. I couldn't take it anymore. He changed the way he was talking to me after that. And he told me, that's fine. If you decide you don't want to come back, then I'm going to tell your command, and I'm going to tell the cops about the night that you attempted to unalive me. And I was shocked, because the night he was talking about, it's a night that I'll share in another video, but I most definitely acted in self-defense that night. But it also plays a huge role in my entire story. He was just such an evil man. He proceeded to tell me that if I ended up going to prison, that he knew people in the prison system and that he would make sure that I had a really terrible time. He would make sure that other people essayed me and did things to me to make me wish that I had already unalived myself. But then he said, but none of that has to happen. Please just come home. I don't want it to be this way. I love you so much. I want you to come home. I want to make things right. I want to make things right. This conversation went on for probably about 2 hours. Near the end of it, it was going okay. It had been pleasant. And he said, please, can we just go home? You know, we don't need to be sitting in this truck. Please just come home. You're leaving this weekend. You're going to be gone for a week. I was supposed to have been going to California for training. He then said, you know, we missed Thanksgiving yesterday. We could still have Thanksgiving today. Please just follow me home. Please, let's just make this right. And I decided to go home. The whole way back, he stayed right in front of me. He made sure that he didn't lose me. There was one time I thought about getting off on the exit to get on the highway and just drive as far as I could drive. But I didn't know what would happen if I did that. So I went home. When we got home, he told me to go inside and to go into the bedroom and that he would meet me there, but that he was so ready to make things right. When I went into the bedroom, I waited for him to come in. And when he came in, he told me, I need you to lay on the floor. And I'm not sure why, but I did. It's really hard to explain why I complied with the things I did. I had no idea what he was about to do to me. But I knew pretty quick once I was on the floor. When I laid on the floor, I looked up, and all I seen was blue gloves in a white container. And that was the last thing I remember seeing. And the next thing I felt was a pain that is just so indescribable. I've been burnt before. This was different. Whatever he used melted off my skin. I'm gonna need to continue this in a part 2. Thank you for listening. I appreciate and love you.
Hey everybody, I know it's been a little while since I last made a video. It's been a bit of a hectic week for me, and this is the hardest part of my story to tell for me. So thank you for being patient and understanding. Today is also a weird day for me. Today marks 1 year since he unalived himself. The feelings are still interesting. I still mostly feel relief. I still feel anger that he didn't have to actually serve any justice on the earth. I believe God has treated him appropriately. I'm not to say. It's just a really surreal thing to kind of put it into words. I had a conversation earlier with a friend, and they asked if I missed him. And I said no, because the person that I married died long before he unalived himself. So I guess that today has put me in a little bit of a weird mood, but I'm fine. I've had a good day. Without further ado, let's get into it. So I was laying on the floor, and he was holding me down, and the pain was immediate, and I could feel his hand rubbing it into my right eye. I believe that's whenever the screaming got to be the loudest. That's whenever he told me that if I didn't stop, that he would pour it down my throat and I would die. When I stopped screaming and started to pray, I feel as though maybe I left my body or something. I really can't explain how I was able to stay quiet. Because when he was done with the right eye, he moved into the left. But he didn't rub it into that eye. But I still didn't scream. The next thing that happened, he started speaking to me in the same tone of voice that he had. And he told me, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go into the kitchen. You're going to go by the oven. You're going to grab the can of oven cleaner. You're going to act like you sprayed it in there. Then you're going to scream out the word fuck really loud. Then you're going to grab the towel hanging from the oven door. He proceeded to tell me that he would then plug the camera back in, so that way that would be what was caught as to what happened to my eyes. I made sure that no matter what pain I was in, I followed every direction that he had. We went into the kitchen, walked me in there. He sprayed my face a little bit with the oven cleaner in some different places, kind of around the top. I didn't really feel it though at that point. My face was already burning. So we went in there. I did what I was supposed to do, and I yelled fuck as loud as I could. My daughter came running out of her room. Thank God she didn't hear anything. The outline of our house. Our bedroom was separated from the kids, so they didn't know anything had happened at all. I'm thankful I already had my face covered by the time she came out. She said, "Oh my God, Mom, what happened?" And that's when he ran out. "Oh my God, babe, what happened? Are you okay?" And I said, "No. I sprayed myself in the face with oven cleaner by accident. Said I need to get into the shower right away and flush my eyes, and then I need to go to the hospital." Of course, he said. Got me into the shower. I jumped in fully clothed. I was just on fire. I had to just start rinsing my eyes. It was the coldest water, but it just didn't feel cold enough. I didn't dare touch my eyes. I couldn't open them though. I wasn't even sure that I had eyes at that point. While I'm soaking my face, he was outside the shower screaming. Not really screaming, but just repeating, fuck, 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 fuck. I didn't say anything. He started to tell me that we needed to go to the hospital. And at first, I just couldn't even get out of the shower. My face was on fire. I told him, I can't move. I'm in so much pain. And he said, "We have to fucking go." So he helped me out. I didn't change my clothes, got right into the car. He didn't look up directions to the hospital. I knew where the hospital was because I worked in the town we lived in. So I gave him directions to the hospital as my face was on fire. When we pulled up to the hospital, he said to me, "You know you did this to yourself, right?" I didn't say anything. We went inside, and he put on the show of the concerned husband. "Help us, my wife had an accident with oven cleaner, we need help." He put on a good show. I was almost full. I knew it was bad. When we got into one of the rooms, I heard, I'm not sure who it was, I guess a nurse, say, "Oh shit." He came into the room, so I knew it was bad. Finally got me into a room and started me on medication to help me with the pain. And they got me started with some lenses over my eyes so they could run saline through them. I was still in my soaking clothes, so they knew they had to get them off. I asked that everyone leave the room except for the female nurse that was removing them and my husband. And he seemed to be pleased by that. After I was changed into the other clothes, we were left alone in the room. And he got down close to me and he told me, "I hate to see you like this." And I told him it's okay. And he told me that he loved me. And I told him that I loved him too. And he told me that he believed me. And I don't know why. In that moment, that's like what I needed to hear. Because literally all I did for the entire time we were together was just love him.
That was hard to watch. Women are going through things like this in their homes. In fact, when I posted this part one, there was a comment I saw. Someone was like, hospitals nowadays, they help women out, especially when you come in with bruises or something that looks like you were hit or something. They always try to be alone with the woman and ask like, are you okay at home? So that if she doesn't want to talk in front of her husband or something, it's the way they will just try to deceive the man out of the room and ask her, are you okay? So they can help. Because most of the time, just imagine what he did now, plan the whole thing and just change the whole thing, acting like a caring husband, rushed her to the hospital, telling the nurse, oh, help my wife. Like someone outside might not even want to believe it was the one that did something like that. Even the children did not see what happened. Most of the time, women that are being abused like that, they don't have evidence. And that's one thing people used to ask. Like, what is your evidence? The only evidence you have are the bruises, are the injury you have on your body. And if you can get yourself to the hospital and if you can just talk to the nurse, make sure you're talking to a woman, not a man, and just tell them, help me or something, or just keep me in the hospital, or just, I don't know, because already left and he deceived her to come back saying that and let's work things out, because he already know what he wants to do. He knew that she's still going to go, but he doesn't want her to go still looking a perfect self. He wants to destroy her. In fact, he wants to unalive her. Or if he doesn't even want to unalive her, he wants to actually make her to be very ugly so that no other man can have her. So if I can have you, nobody else can have you. That is what it was trying to do. Thankfully, it did not actually deal with the second eye, because videos like this is very hard to have opinion. Anyways, what is you guys take? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I will link the part one of this video down in the comment section. She made another video, but then I feel like this is the end of the story. She made another video saying that she's okay, she has been to therapy and she's fine and all of that she's doing well for herself. You know, after she went for therapy for a year or so and she's fine now. But you know, when you're saying things that happen to you, when you're saying your story, you can, you know, break down. It's like you're there all over again. So something that you've tried to forget and somebody asks you what happened so time and you're trying to explain it, it brings tears, it brings memories, and obviously that was what she's going through. And she even looking at the mirror alone, it's a memory for her to see that I am like this because of this man. And he actually picked the easiest way out by unaliving himself. What is your take on this video? Kindly share your thoughts down in the comment section. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.